Hey guys, Disciple Terror here. I got a new video for you, alright? So we are going to be looking at, and this is going to be a pretty straightforward reading, honestly. And so we're going to be looking at you, your partner, and the relationship itself. So I would say, to honestly, this video is going to be better for those who are actually in a relationship. But I mean, even if you're not, I mean, you can probably still get some insight, if you're in some kind of, situationship, or maybe you just started seeing someone, so the relationship hasn't really gotten up off the ground yet, so there isn't really going to be too much in that aspect, for example, or something like that. So it's possible for you to get some insight, but I'm just trying to be honest here. This video, since my videos are pretty, quick and to the point, and just, I really try and pack as much information as I can in a short amount of time. I don't like to go on and on. So with that in mind, I would just honestly like to say this video will probably just be better for you if you are actually in a relationship, but you do you, and if you just want to watch this video and see if anything resonates, then great, but otherwise you might want to sit this one out, for example. So let's get our cards. Okay, we got the first card. Almost got the second card. That was almost as well. There we go. All right. So we got the 3 cards here. Let me just get them into frame for you guys. All right, so what we have, we got the 3 cards. We got the 3 of rainbows, which is guidance. For the second card, we got the 4 of rainbows, which is the miser. And then the third card, we got 10 of the major arcana, that is change. So I just want you guys to quickly look at these cards, see which one really draws your attention, subconsciously what is trying to speak to you, and then I will see you at your reading at the timestamps below. All right, guys. All right, welcome to your reading, guys. This is the first one. So we got the 3 of rainbows, guidance. So more than likely why you were drawn to this card subconsciously is because, I mean, it could be literally the word guidance right on the card, but the imagery sort of being like an angel, like a guiding angel, that kind of thing. This card is really about like support and work and like due diligence and putting in that effort, right? So it could be, for example, subconsciously for you that you're aware that there is work that needs to be done in your relationship. It doesn't mean things are going, really badly or anything like that necessarily. It just means that there is work that needs to be done. And so that is why you really want to put in the work. So, or need to, whatever the case may be. So let's move this aside. And let's get your first card. So your first card will be you. This represents you. The second card will be your partner, the person that you are with. And then the third card will just be a representation of the relationship as a whole. So let's do you first. All right, so what we have is the Rebel, number 4. So this is traditionally, the Emperor in a typical deck, but the Rebel. So this is a really strong figure. You can see they're sort of animalistic in a way because it's like they're sort of like joined together with this bird of prey here, and the colors themselves, and also just the torch, right? Leading ahead. So for you, what this can kind of mean, looking at this card also will bring up different images and meaning to you, because that's another thing in my readings that I want you guys to do is look at the cards and the imagery for yourself while I'm talking. You can pause the video, for example, but looking at the card, sort of let yourself attribute your own attributes onto this card. Attribute it to the imagery that you can see. So, traditionally with the meaning of this card, however, I'll get into that now, is, the Rebel. This is a strong, sort of masculine figure, really leading the charge, not necessarily breaking the rules or anything like that. I mean, I know it says the Rebel, but it's not necessarily just breaking rules or anything like that, but it's having a strong understanding of your own values and your own strengths, against your weaknesses. And so it's being that sort of figure, right? Leading the way, you got the torch. So, especially with the guidance card, right? With the guidance card, what this can be is a lot of you being the one to step up and say, hey, we need to work on these things in a relationship. Or simply, I want to work on things in a relationship. I want us to be stronger. We're already strong, but I just want us to be stronger. So I want to work on some of these nitpicky things that we both have issues with in the relationship so that we can make things better. That's just an example. So that is you. You are that strong figure. So that's pretty cool. So let's look at your partner. What do they represent? What are they? All right. So we have going with the flow. This is the ace. This is the ace of water. So your person is, well, I mean, it's very direct, very, it's it's straight to the point, right? Going with the flow. Now, this doesn't mean your person is like, you know, inattentive to the relationship or anything like that. Like they don't care or they're lazy or something like that. It doesn't have to mean anything along those lines. But your partner is definitely more of a go with the flow person, Now, this is a water card, so this is emotion. So that, your person can be, if you use the imagery here in the card, you have this person sort of just lazily flowing along, In the water, and again, saying lazily doesn't have to mean your person's lazy, but just that's just the image of the card. That's just the image of the card. Your person, though, for example, can be very easygoing, and that they can still put in just as much effort or whatever into the relationship, but they're definitely a lot just easier going when it comes to issues. So this may be that this has led you, it could just be you personally, you're just a very strong, go-getter kind of personality. But it can also be that since this reading is about the dynamic of the relationship, obviously, then this can be that this has forced you to be more of the rebel, more of that stronger torch leading character. So again, looking at the cards, looking at the imagery, seeing what conjures up for yourself and what's making sense. If we have you and your partner, this is the sort of dynamic that we have going on, then let's look at the relationship as a whole. That's a very good card to get. You got the Ace of Fire now. So this is the source. So, the source. So, your relationship is definitely a very passionate one. I think looking at this card, you see just the bright colors, right? The red, the orange, the yellow, the sphere here, the circle. This can really just conjure up images and, understanding of passion and energy and all that kind of stuff, right? Just, like a very heated, dynamic kind of relationship. And so I think that makes sense, right? We have the two people here, as I've already described, and now the relationship as a whole is very, and when I say heated, again, not a negative way, but it just means it's very passionate. There's definitely a lot of chemistry here. This is the source. This is number one. It's the ace. So this is about, using the symbology behind everything in the card. The colors, the number one, the fire itself, the suit of the card. This is definitely the kind of relationship that is very passionate on all fronts. Now, again, I can't say this definitively because this is a general reading, so I don't know exactly how everything is going to connect for all of you. But this can be a relationship where things are very opposites attract. And so there is a lot of that, not arguments necessarily or anything like that, but there is a lot of fireworks going on in different directions. And that's because you're trying to say this and help this and fix this, while this person's just kind of going with the flow. But this can also just be that you two actually really go together and that it's just a good balance of, not necessarily of opposites, but just in a balance of two different personalities, the connecting the dots between two similar parts. And so, yeah, the relationship here is definitely very, dynamic. That's just an example for, So, taking this all together, then, this is definitely, again, you, the partner, and the relationship. So I want the takeaway from this to be that while this is you, you got the torch, you're leading things, and this is your partner, just kind of going with the flow, whatever, then the relationship being, the source, the takeaway is, what do you need to focus on to, if fixing of the relationship is, necessary at all, then what do you need to focus on? You could be, I guess, in the right is what I'm trying to get at. You could be in the right, and there are things that need to be fixed, and so, here you go. This is confirmation of that. If that is the case for you, then definitely focus on that, because, I mean, if you really care about the person, you don't want a relationship, even a friendship. You don't want a friendship to fail either, just because of nitpicky stuff. So the takeaway is, look at your relationship. And if there's stuff to fix, then definitely go ahead and do it. But if things are fine, then maybe you could be unnecessarily rebelling. Unnecessarily rebelling. So, that is your reading. Just take that as it is. Hopefully this helped you. If you would like to book a private session with me, you can find all that information below in the description. And also, if you would just like to tip, that would definitely be helpful too. Helps me get new decks and, like new camera and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, definitely just consider what I've said here, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care, guys. The Miser. Hey guys, you picked the second card, which is the Four of Rainbows, the Miser. So, this card can be a lot about hoarding and control and greed. So, there could be that going on in your relationship. I mean, this could be about possession or jealousy or something like that. So, I would say if you were drawn to this card, that subconsciously the meaning for you is that you or your partner, or just maybe the connection between the two of you, the dynamic in place, is that has become, at least, or maybe is starting to, or it maybe just even superficially appears this way, whether it's true or not, but it appears to be maybe of jealousy and possession. Maybe one of you or both of you are clinging on to one another, in an unjust sort of fashion or something like that. So let's definitely explore this and see what we can, see from the cards to possibly help you in this situation. Because if this is the dynamic that's going on, I don't want to unnecessarily complicate things or whatever in your relationship, because I can only tell so much, right? It's a general reading. So let us get the first card for you. So the first card will be you. The second card will be your partner, the person you are currently with. And the third card will be the relationship just as a whole. And these are all representative kind of cards. So let's get you. So we got the 14, integration. So integration. So this could be that you are a very, you have bipolar. You flip-flop from fire to water. No. This card can really just kind of represent, with its symbols and everything, this is literally an integration of the two sides of us, right? You have the yin and yang here, the light and the dark, the white and the black, the seen and the unseen. So, and fire and water. So you have sort of the emotional side of each person, right? Our own emotions and, our own feelings and things like that. And then with fire, what that is then you have like your passions, your energy, your heart of things, right? That sort of drive. So it's really the connection between those two. So this is you. This could be that you're really working on yourself and trying to integrate both parts of your personality and make things, really click, for example. That is definitely a way of looking at this. It can also just be that you as a whole have conflicting sides that you are trying to integrate, something that you're struggling with. So, for example, in the case of the miser card, what this could really be is that, just as an example, once again, you could be the one that's struggling with your insecurities or, jealousy and things like that because you are trying to integrate two sides of yourself. You're trying to work on things, and then you have your more confident, stable side, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So let's get your partner. So what we have here is the 3 of fire, right? This is experiencing. I mean, you have this figure, you have all the red and oranges and yellows here, sort of once again, the fire suit, the wands. And so this is definitely just about like energy and drive and things like that. That's just kind of the symbology behind the card. So your partner could be someone who's definitely more of a free spirit, for example. There's someone that likes to go out, meet new people, do things, experience new things, and really enjoy life for what it has to offer. And that's a great perspective to have, right? I mean, that's awesome. I have definitely a lot of friends, and I've dated people in the past before that have been that way. And it's always great, because they're the ones that you can always rely on to have a good time and to, make new connections and things like that, and just learn new things or enjoy new hobbies or experiences. And it's just really invigorating, So, however, for you, this could be an example that you struggle with that because maybe your insecurities come up and you're afraid that, oh, they're cheating or something like that. You can't really trust them. So while your partner is this very free-spirited person, you are trying to balance your side of the expression, the free-spiritedness, and definitely it's just your own insecurities, your own emotional side, the stuff that you keep hidden. Your partner, for example, could be completely unaware of all of this stuff. This is just an example, but I'm kind of riding with it. With this miser card, this could definitely be representative of you, and you're struggling to balance these things out because you don't want to ruin the relationship, but you are like, I feel like, well, just because of how free they are, like clearly they're cheating, and I don't know who they're with, and this and that. So let's get the next card, which is the relationship as a whole. That's good. I like this card because it's got a clown on it. All about fun and circus and things like that. No, I mean, literally, this relationship here really shows the sort of experimentation, the fun, the vigor, the spirit, the energy behind sort of the relationship. Look at these little like fireworks, these sparklers in the clown's hands, and the clown is just kind of dancing away and not really caring or needing to worry about serious things and just enjoying the moment. And that is because this card is literally the page of fire, the page of wands. So this is playfulness. Your relationship is definitely very great. There's like all this fun and play, and it really leans heavily into how your partner lives and interacts with the world around them and stuff like that. But you're just struggling to keep up and to stay in that situation. So I think really as a whole, for this reading for you, what this really means is you can or can't, this could be the case. Once again, I'm just using this example, but this could really be you struggling to keep things balanced and your insecurities in check, and while your partner's just kind of off happy-go-lucky and nothing's really bothering them, they're probably unaware, like I said, of what's going on your side of things. But the relationship is great. It's just very fun. It's playful. Maybe it's even very new. That could be an example. This is very new for you, for them, whatever. And so I would say the takeaway for you is to, do work on your insecurities and your own issues, because that is only going to affect your relationship here with this person or any friendships or anything like that. This isn't just about this one person, this one situation. This is about just your life as a whole. So if this is the case and you're really struggling with this balance here of the light and dark sides of yourself, then I would say you need to do so if you want this relationship to work, if you want it to thrive and to grow into something really solid. Because otherwise, if you think the way you do, for example, they're cheating, this and that, then that's really going to drag the relationship down, right? So that is the takeaway. And of course, this can represent different things for you. It could simply be just you struggling with internal stuff and outside stuff. So it could be that you're totally fine, but there are outside circumstances that are impeding themselves on the relationship. And so you're having to work on those things because it's getting in the way of the fun. So again, you can read this in different ways. That's why I always want you guys to look at the cards and see the imagery for yourselves. What does this clown really conjure up in your own mind? What does this experiencing figure really conjure up in your mind? What does the swan and the person and the snake eating its own tail and the yin and yang here and the red and blue and the rainbow, what do all these things represent for you while looking at this as I'm talking? So that is your reading. That is the takeaway. I hope you can really work on things and fix stuff, or simply just take care of external things that are getting in the way of the relationship, because that does happen. So if you would like to book a private session with me, if you want more information on this, because this wasn't enough for you, you want specifics, you want nitty gritty, then please look below. You'll find my email. That's where you can get more information on how to book a private session with me. Definitely a really great move if you want to do that, for sure. Other than that, if you would like to tip me, I got my PayPal below. That's where you can find that link in the description box as well. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next reading. Change is a big thing, isn't it? Yeah, so you guys pick change. You picked the third card, which is the 10, the Wheel of Fortune, traditionally in a Rider-Waite deck, but this is change in this deck. You sort of have, Wheel of Fortune still, but you have all the astrological symbols, you have the yin and yang in the center, you got all these different things converging and connecting together, and the wheel itself is spinning. So I would say subconsciously why you picked this card is because, change. And of course, that is a very broad word, a very broad term to bring up. But for you, since this is about your relationship, your current relationship, whatever's going on, there's change afoot. And you're aware of it. You're very aware of it. You know, your mind brought it up because it's like, hey, pick that third card because that is what's going on in our situation. Change. So let us get your cards. So the first card will be you, what you represent in the relationship. The second card will be what your partner represents in the relationship. And the third card will be the relationship as a whole. So let's see what we get. Totality. So, you represent totality. So this situation is about, for you in the relationship, this example, you have these trapeze performers, and they're gripping, and see how, if you really look at it, their hands are about to touch, and there's sort of this white, dramatic moment appearing, converging right at this moment. Totality. It's all in that moment. So this could be for you that this is, how do I put it? Because traditionally the 5 in the wands, 5 of fire in this deck, is about like conflict and complications and competition and things like that. So this is really about, in this deck, this card, and for you in this relationship, this is really about the moment. All totality. It's all about this one moment, right? Catching that person and continuing the performance. So you could be, for example, very concerned, I guess is the word I'll use. I might have to change that in a minute when something better comes up, but you're very concerned for the moment, for the relationship. Like, things right now for you in this reading are very in the moment, I would say, at least for most of you. Of course, it's going to vary, it's a general reading, but when you look at this card, what does it really speak to you about? What kind of words and images are conjured up just by looking at it? Because what I can get, right, all I can get, because all I do is interpret the cards as they show up in an objective sense, because I go off just the symbols and the literal meaning of the cards, because that's all I can do. And so for you, I would say you're caught up in the moment of the relationship, and since your card was change, then this could really be that the relationship is just starting, and so you're unsure of things, for example, or you're trying to maybe leave the relationship, or contemplating leaving the relationship or something like that, or maybe your partner has come to you with that, ending the relationship or something like that. And so very much you're in the moment on that. So I need the other cards to be able to better explain this totality, but I hope that kind of gives you the gist of what I'm going for. So let's get your partner. What do they represent in the relationship? And that was necessary. That is very necessary. So this could really be about your partner is in their mind. Sort of conflicted with their thoughts. So you have like these smokestacks in the person's like head and their hair, and then you have their whole body is like wrapped up in like machine parts and gears, and everything is all twisted, right? We're stuck in our minds. So maybe your partner, for example, has come to you. Again, look at these images for yourselves. and see how they connect for you, because that's definitely going to help it be more specific for you. But just looking at this, maybe your partner has come to you saying that they want to end their relationship or take a break or change something about it. And this has led you to really, in a heated fashion, really dwelling and thinking about the relationship. Maybe this has led to an argument. Maybe you're very angry right now. There's sort of competition between you two on what to do with the relationship, something like that. So let's get the third card, though, the relationship itself. Almost got the card. There we go. Another This is a very relationship right now. The reading. So what you got is no thingness, nothingness. This is the 5, the Hierophant traditionally in a deck. So this is really about, how do I put it? When it comes to nothingness, no thingness, this is about that state between internal and external things, light and dark. And it is that space, that gray, essentially. It is that space between things where it's potentiality. It's where things occur, right? It's between things, right? Where things, you got one object and another touching, the nothingness is the touching. It is that event, it's that potential between two things, that's possible. So your relationship is definitely sort of at a standstill. Things have definitely changed. So this will vary for all of you, but this could be this relationship's just starting and you guys are really just trying to get things up off the ground. Maybe your partner has a lot of insecurities and they're stuck in their own mind while you're just trying to you're like, hey, come on. We really like each other. Let's just get things moving. I don't like all this stalling. Or it could be, again, your partner has come to you saying, the relationship isn't going to work. And so you're kind of heated about this. And the relationship is sort of at a standstill. It is at that 5. Right? Think of 5, the number. It is between 1 and 10. Right? So you are at that meeting place, that point. So this relationship is really at a point where it's undetermined. So depending on your situation, if this is something you can fix, if this is in your power, be honest with yourself, looking at the images here and everything. Be honest with yourself. If this is something you can fix and it is on you to do so, then do it. If you want to save or keep or preserve or grow or start up, in the case of the relationship hasn't really gotten up off the ground, then to start up the relationship. But if this is out of your control and you can't do anything, because let's just say your partner is just very insecure and they're stuck in their own mind on things and whatever, you can't control them. You can't force them to make things work or to make this relationship work if it's not gonna. So this might be a point where you need to let go. this totality, it's all caught up in this moment for you. You're really maybe stressing about what to do. If this is something you can fix, then by all means, put your energy and effort into it as best as you can, and then just see where things go. But if you can't, then you need to let it go, because the relationship is at this point where you can do so. So that is what I have for you guys today, okay? This is your reading. I don't want it to be bleak or negative. That's not the point or anything like that. But this is just, if your relationship is at this point, then you need to consider these things, right? But if you want more specifics, for example, because of course it's going to vary for you, then please consider booking a private session with me, and we can get into the nitty-gritty of your situation. You can find my email below in the description box, and we can get that going. I can give you more information. Other than that, if you would like to tip me, you can find my PayPal below. That would be great. Helps me get new decks and things like that. Just helps the channel out. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next reading.